I've been sick as a dog the last couple of days, but honestly what's holding everything together has been this new workflow. Kit bashing, converting one miniature and painting one miniature at a time. And it seems so counterproductive in a world of like batch painting and speed painting. But really, it's the best feeling I've ever had painting. Because every single day, which is the current rate that I'm kind of painting at, one model per day-ish, sometimes less, every single model feels like a little accomplishment because all the problems to solve are kind of pushed together. See, previously when I'd do big armies, I would be making lots of miniatures, which meant I'd be solving 100 problems. And then, when it comes to painting, I'm solving a whole lot more. I'm solving problems for every single miniature that I've kit bashed. And painting isn't my strength at all. It's my biggest insecurity, I think, when it comes to model making. But taking it one model at a time means that the problems that I encounter painting, it's just one bit at a time. All I gotta work out. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to do a one-size-fits-all solution. I just need to chip away, bit by bit. And then the next miniature that I do becomes slightly easier. I have the skills from the last to apply to it. I'm finding a groove is what I'm saying. So despite having limited time and feeling real crook, every day still feels like a bit of a blessing. My next inclusion to the Mordheim roster lineup is the Ogre Bodyguard. Is that? No, that's the Halfling Scout. Here we go. The Ogre Bodyguard. Now, the thing about hide swords is you have to pay for them, you have to maintain them, and you might not ever use it, but I think they're always good to have on hand. People can borrow it, people can use it, and they're really, really fun to make. The model that I want to use is this one. This was an event-exclusive miniature from Under the Dice Fest given to the staff. At least that's what I think. I wasn't a staff. I was given a staff shirt, and as a result, I helped a couple of people. But anything I tried to do, Gage said, no, you just relax. And I don't know if he was just being nice or I was incompetent. But either way, I have this kind of sick miniature. And I think it's based off something from Berserk. I don't know. I'm not a Berserk guy, but it's very, very sick. The only issue is that it's very heavily armored, and ogres in Mordheim have light armor. So that seems like a good challenge to overcome. Now, this miniature was sculpted by Maddie Knuckles from Knucklebone Miniatures, and Maddie is kind of a legend in the Mordheim scene. Now that models aren't as readily available from GW, Maddie has stepped in and made some incredible sculpts that you can use for your warbands. I think in order to turn this into the ogre that I want, I'm going to nip off these badges, these connection points, and that will give me like a nice surface to sculpt on. Actually, while I'm here, I'm also going to sand this down. Now, this would be the perfect job for some sort of electric sanding device, but all mine are currently out of action. I will replace them at some point, but I'm saving some dosh for some other tools at the moment. We just need to make do. So I'm trying to sand a bit of a flat spot into the stomach so we can put a more interesting belly plate, something more aligned with the orcs and goblins that we've been working on. Okay, so I found this shield. This is from Kev Adams. I bought this at Foundry. It was in like a big pack of goblin-style shields. I think that would be kind of an awesome fit because then we can keep this face plain, which like really draws attention to the weird shield face. what we've got. The Ogre Bodyguard, now with adjusted armor, so I can paint the top half to look more like flesh. And I really do love the belly plate versus the head, you know. Putting the facial features down here I think is a good twist. It's going to look bloody good with a bit of paint on it. Milliput for the ogre has to dry, but I actually have a couple of problems I need to solve tonight. I have a lot of orc bodies that simply do not have heads. Like, I don't know what to do with this, because all the other head swap options I have are all monopose. Like, in order to give this a head, I have to take another head off of another model. And that kind of tells me that the solution is maybe molding and casting. There should be a solution in here in the form of Uyumaru. Uyumaru is a thermoplastic that you put in boiling water, and then you can mold it around whatever object you want and get perfect little molds to cast with. Those molds made this. A bootleg epic great unclean one. I think that everyone should learn to mold and cast. That's my hot take. I think it's the best skill that you can learn when it comes to model making, and it's really as easy as putting in a bit of Uyumaru into some water. Okay, these are my candidates for orc faces to steel. This classic monopose plastic orc. The face detail is pretty crisp, if I'm being honest, for these early sprues. So that might be a great candidate to do a push mold with. Alternatively, there is this metal orc, which basically has the exact same face, but in metal. And I can't tell by eye if one is like crisper than the other, so maybe giving them both a go. And then, completely out of left field, is this orc who has like the gnarliest, scariest, coolest face ever. That would be just awesome to have. Now this process is dead easy. I like using chopsticks because I don't really like touching the melted Uyumaru because it's like very, very hot. So chopsticks make that process a little bit safer feeling. Yeah, okay. You want to get it as like hot as possible. You don't want it too hot though. Like you can get like super hot water and put this in there, and then it just becomes like liquid and it's just dangerous and doesn't really work. So you want it at like just the right, like really difficult to touch, but still touchable, if that makes sense. So we literally just get the Uyumaru and then we push it into the face as quickly as possible. We want to make like a nice tight seal around it. We want to push out any water if there happens to be any, and then we let this sit. A bit of a pro move is to like get off any water before you push it into the model, because the water can get between the model's detail and the mold, and then you get left with like little air pockets. The only thing is that if you like shake it around too much, it can cool down, so it needs to be nice and hot. You can also blot it with a bit of paper towel if that's easier. I'm also going to steal some of the faces from these Kev Adams shields. They're really, really beautiful shields, but they're very thick and they're very big, and they just don't suit the orcs that I have at like the scale that they are. Kev Adams is still sculpting orcs and goblins to this day, and these shields look really good with his more modern takes. Well, modern, they still look very old school, but they're a bit bigger. As soon as this doesn't feel melty, we can pull it off and... ooh. Alright. You can see absolutely nothing that's going on in there, and neither can I, but we're going to just shove some milliput in there and hope for the best. Yeah, the same. Okay, surely this one will be easier for us to peek inside, and not really. A little bit. Okay, these you'll definitely be able to see. Nice. Very nice. And right on cue, I'm nearly out of milliput, so I'll have to get some more of that tomorrow. Now we just shove this into the holes and hope for the best. Alright, now we just see what happens, but that will be tomorrow. I have a very important question to answer, and that is what we ended up naming our half-orc warlock. And the top-rated comment was Scylla Simon. Which is very silly, and I appreciate. But also, Simon fits quite well in universe, I think, because Simon is a very ordinary name for something extraordinary to happen to them. So look, I'll take it. Okay, that's so thank you very much for the name. Now we do need a name for our orc though, and it'd be really good if it was something particularly orky, something very in universe, something menacing, something scary,